Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Even Back. So, last time, basically it turns out that the ESREP is an awful design. So we very quickly fixed the problems with it, and we're going to launch that on the next window. But we also need to send the crew and stuff next window, hopefully. However, there's a chance that the new design doesn't work. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to build another ESREP, a much smaller one that can't do all the cool stuff the other thing can. But just in case the new ESREP doesn't work, we'll at least have something. So get your seatbelts, get your blankets, get your kitty cats, and get ready for another build episode. Alright, ESREP 4, this is gonna be. It needs to be a rocket plane, it needs to have range, but like, the Mark III parts are too big for what I'm envisioning. Like, this is just supposed to be minimalist. So I actually don't know how this is gonna play out, because none of the other parts are heat shielded. I mean, I guess I could do Mark II, although Mark II parts are pretty inefficient. But I'd much rather have it be a 2.5 meter design. So, as much as I hate to do this, we can base it off of this, I guess. So landing gear wise, oh, hold on, we have to make it self-refueling, don't we? Otherwise, that defeats the purpose. That's gonna be too big, so we're gonna need to find a way to put the small thing in there. If we put 2 successive bays, then I can fit that in there. Can I turn off end caps? No, that must be a modded feature. We're gonna wanna rotate this so the drills can come out at the bottom. And this will actually solve a problem we had last time. Because we have a space for the radiators to come out. If they can come out at the top and not like have to deal with going out underneath or anything like that. Radiator, 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 radiator. If we put it sideways, it could just come out like without any hassle. Like that. Does that fit? That, no, it doesn't fit. That should fit. No, but still off-center. That's as close as we're gonna get, and I guess I'll have to live with that. Yes, I have both canards and a tailplane. Sometimes you need both, because I'm not great at designing this sort of stuff yet. Learning from our past mistakes, we're not gonna skimp out on landing gear. This plane is not big enough to need medium landing gear, but I'm gonna give it medium landing gear anyway. Actually, no, hold on. Okay, since we need the drills to reach, I'm gonna clip this in here. And these drills, will these drills still reach? It's gonna be borderline, so I think, yeah, I'm gonna... I mean, we can just test it, but... Oh yeah, and the suspension will be collapsed slightly, so yeah, I think we should just test it. Do need to add solar panels, though. So we're gonna want a probe core, I do believe, and then a way to communicate with the relay system at least, so... let's just stick a tiny Communitron atmospheric version on here. And then we're going to slide the wings slightly forward because the centers migrated a bit. Yes, they're floating. Whatever, you know, I'll fix that. I'll add some tiny wing pieces to make it seem a little less odd. Then I'll just turn the authority limiter to this on 0. Why can't I ever get these things to go the right way? Alright, authority limiter 0. And you know, it might be worthwhile to add some air brakes on this too. That's 3 kilometers per second at delta V, not a ton. It can single stage orbit from Kerbin, I guess, but I would prefer a little bit more. But anyway, let's do a test run of this thing on Kerbin like we did with the other one. Also, by the way, I've decided that I'm just gonna the rover that I was driving up the hill, I broke a wheel, but I got really far, so I decided that I'm just gonna try and fix it there. I'm gonna try and get some crew down there. Fix the wheel, because otherwise it'll take forever. I can probably take the little airplane thing there. Okay, first test flight of the ESREP Mark IV. It's weird how originally we weren't even going to have an ESREP at all, it's just going to be bigger back. This series is called Even Back, but it's going to be a while before we even get there, let alone back. I can time accelerate with this, actually, now. So that's pretty good. And its range, even without the whatchamacallit. I think the original ESREP, even without the plane and lift system, could go around like here in the ocean, past this continent, and this thing is almost single stage orbit capable on Kerbin. So I think I want to aim for those mountainous areas to test it. Yeah. So the range is significantly increased. Oh, I almost burned up. So the range is significantly increased over the original, but that's not valuable if it can't like land and self-refuel and explore. And because it's not carrying an exploration craft, it won't be able to get into like the nooks and crannies. It will be able to like land like on big flat things, and it'll get like a good overview of the lands. I'm half tempted to try and make the paramotor things dockable, and then make this like have a little bay for a paramotor. But this isn't supposed to be that. This is supposed to be the dead simple, at least we have something if the actual ESREP fails. I'll need to add a ladder to this too. So yeah, this is not the place to be adding complexity. I've had so much feature creep on this mission already. Maybe I should add a heat shield there instead of a nose cone. Hope he has aerodynamic, but this thing is going to get going fast. If it can't handle Kerbin re-entry, it's going to have a really hard time handling Eve re-entry. Now, if this does work, what I might be able to, like, if this works and ESREP 3 works, what I might be able to do is the paramotors will be for, like, really close-in exploration, along with the rover. The ESREP 3 will be for medium-range exploration, so it can carry the plane further, so it can, like, explore the nooks and crannies of everything nearby, and maybe make, like, one really long expedition to the North Pole and whatnot. And this can be the really long-range scout plane that will, like, explore all the far-away stuff. However, that's optimistic. That's assuming that ESREP 3 works. Alright. As far as landing locations going, I think I'm going to try and land... You can't see my mouse. Hold on. Let me fix that. I can't find the setting. Okay, let's land this thing. Let's land this thing, and then I'll look at the mouse setting. But yeah, I want to land the opposite direction I'm currently going. I want to do a turn, and then kind of land going that direction in the slot. This is a cool place on Kerbin. Like, there's a mountain slot. There's probably a geological term for that. Actually, hold on. I don't want to land in here because then I won't get solar panel. Aw, cannot play while stowed. I forgot about that stupid feature. I guess we'll have to move that back then. So that's our list of changes. We need to deal with the landing gear placement. We need to add a ladder, and we need to replace the nose cone with the heat shield. Those 3 things so far. I want to purposely do a rough landing here because the simple landings on Eve, like the normal thing did, ESREP 2 did landings on Kerbin, like smooth landings, fine, but not smooth landings on Eve. So if this thing can do a rough Kerbin landing, it can probably do a rough Eve landing, or at least no, a smooth Eve landing. So this is like at 60 meters per second, faster than it would usually be touching down, and that was a fine touchdown. Oh, that was also rough, so good test, good test, good test. And why are these, okay, brakes 200, yeah, this is a concerningly non-flat land. We had a bit of roughness there, maybe not like, maybe it wasn't a perfect test, but you know, it was a good enough test. So we close this, and then action, well, I'm gonna wait until day actually. Okay, if I press 1 here, everything should pop out. And then 2 should start the mining process. And it looks like it's making enough power on current. Well, the things haven't warmed up yet, so I can't tell that for sure. Alright, so how long is it going to take to refuel the ship? 1 day? 2 day? 3 day? I forgot how much less efficient these are. 4 day? 5 day, 6 day, 7 day. Okay, what ore percentage are we getting right now? Because it shouldn't be taking this long. Ore rate NA? Why is ore rate NA? Okay, you know what I'm going to do instead? I'm going to scrap this. Well, not the entire design, but I'm going to put 1 big drill on there because our drilling is our bottleneck. So I'm going to take these 2 tiny drills off there. I'm going to put 1 big drill on there and keep the small SRU. Because, like, drill... So the small ones are 0.25 tons. The big ones are 1.25 tons. So that's really only 0.75 tons extra. Which I can stretch the fuel tank if I need to. Okay, so, bigger drill. Got that. I'm going to remove the batteries so we have... Oh. I'm going to remove the batteries so we have... space to... have that drill and have everything still make sense as far as location goes. Oh, and I need to rotate this again because of the radiator. And yeah, that's a little bit of clipping, but realistically there's empty volume in there. They could have redesigned it to take a different form factor. I'm not gonna lose too much sleep over that. You are sliding slightly back. Granted, our wheelbase kind of sucks now, though. But granted, now we can slide everything down a little bit more. 1, 2, 3. Here's the longer drill, and then we can do 1, 2, 3. We can do 2, because then the slope will be different. Yeah, let's just do 2. And there's our centers still fine. Okay, we want to move the wings just a hair forward, maybe? Nah, they're fine where they are. They're fine where they are. And we wanted to move the probe core into the bay. Well, okay, first of all, we want batteries. Because we took the ones off and we didn't replace them. Eight times 4 is 32, which is a little bit more than we had last time. And we want a place to put the probe core, but we don't have a place to put the probe core. We could clip that into the drill. Oh, whatever. And then okay, nose cone. Did these nose cones have a higher heat tolerance than the other one? This one's 2000, 2000. This was 2400, 2400. This is the one we had. Are there any intakes that are like really strong? No, it's the same and the same, so I guess we're going with the heat shield. And all these changes, what was hold on, we need a ladder, that was the other change. And I think they'll be able to climb out of that, but just in case, I'm gonna stick these here. I can remove the monopropellant, we don't need that. Should I add a little bit more fuel? Yeah, I think I'll be fine. Alright, let's test this again, do another full sequence test. Alright, let's go. This thing can definitely single-stage to orbit on Kerbin. And that's going to be a harsh re-entry test, so it'll be a good test of re-entry. And again, the purpose of this is not to be gentle during testing. I want to be as rough during testing as possible, because we didn't do that last time with the ESREP 1. Sorry, the ESREP 2. And we paid the price, because that did not work. I could not land that thing to save my life, and everything got messed up in it. So, this is dead simple design. We want to put it through a bunch of testing. Speaking of which, we actually didn't test the ESREP 3 modification, so we should do that too. I know it's probably a bit disappointing, like, as a viewer, to, like, oh yeah, he's finally getting to Eve, he's finally gonna, like, build the crew mothership and all that sort of stuff, and I'm just here, still building another Eve plane on episode 11 or whatever we're on now. That's too hot. We will not be able to get this fast on Eve because, yeah, this here is made of soup. Oh wait, no, we will survive this speed. So, that's good news. We'll survive this. And we can glide a good distance. We can just keep flying at around this speed for a good long while. So extending our range even further. Like, we didn't even do any cool tricks, and we're like a third of the way around Kerbin, not even trying. So yeah, this good. Even if ESREP 2 works, I think I'll still manage to use this. Sorry, ESREP 3. It's confusing because ESREP 1 is not part of this save. Okay, landing. I need to change it to ground mode. There's a mountain that we want to land before it. Yeah, let's land uphill. That'll be even more difficult. And I want to land. Oh, hi, Jesse. Hi, how you doing? You want to come up here? So yeah, I would like to try and touch down at roughly 100 meters per second at a decently harsh angle. Because I have a quick save. I just want to see if it can take it. Like, we're going uphill. I want to be going 5 degrees down, about 100 meters per second, and see if it can survive. I don't think it will. Actually, no. Since the terrain's a bit stiff, I'm gonna flare a little bit, so it's not gonna be as harsh as we'd hoped, but like, okay. Because, so, yeah, we can survive that. I think I should move the wheels a bit further out, actually, now that I think about it. Oh, that's going to be rough. Okay. Okay. Oh, boy, we're still gliding. What's going on? Ah, okay. Oh, and I need to change the wheel strength back to 200% in the editor, too. Hi, Jesse. Look at him. He's, where's the, okay. It's Jesse. Look at him, it's Jesse. How you doing, Jesse? Are you proud of my landing? Yeah. Good boy. Good boy, gestures. You're the best co-pilot. Who's the best co-pilot? Alright. Anyway, before I got interrupted. Joyfully interrupted. Can this thing even stand up this? Yeah, I really need to move those landing gear out sideways further. Okay, granted, this is a much steeper slope than I ever hoped to land on. Alright, anyway. Next step, time warp today. And Action Group 1 should do pretty much everything. Oh, I forgot to add the drill to the Action Group 1. So, changes, move the landing gear out, add the drill to Action Group 1 and 2. Yeah, 2 is not going to do it either. To start our software. So those are our 2 changes so far. And all these are getting sun. Alright, so once this spools up. Yeah. And we are still drill limited, so good on that. It's 1 day of refueling. 2, 3, 4. Okay. How bad is this convertatron? Because it's been 5 days, and we're a quarter full. Like, this is not a big craft. Okay, we'll complete the test just in case. But, like... Okay, granted, I've never really used the small convertatron much before, but, like... I didn't expect it to be this bad. What if I just brought 2 of them? Like, 2 small convertatrons? Wait, oh, I forgot to tell. Okay, so 10 days is managing our fueling time. And we were at about 22 days. This drill was only operating about 25% capacity. So, if 2 if we can't fit, I'm basically saying 2 small convertatrons, we'll cut that down to 10 days. And it will probably still be lighter than 1 big one. Granted, then we might have to make this a little bit longer, which will increase our fueling time. I don't know, it's design trade-offs, am I right? Because, like, if this was just the ascent vehicle, oh yeah, 1 small convertatron would be fine, but, like, this is going to be bouncing around Eve for, like, many refueling trips if I do things right. And 22 days is not an acceptable refueling time span. Although it is better than the original ESREP. The original ESREP was awful in terms of that. Oh, right, I need to test the ladders, too. Alright, Jebediah, you are our test subject. It doesn't quite reach the ground, but even on Eve, we should be able to do that fine. Climb out, and then we can board. Alright, the ladder system works. Good news. Alright, so now we can retract this. We need a ladder action group as well. And... oh, that's, so I don't want to go full throttle right away, because I want to get onto that flat area before I take off. So otherwise, I'm going to be accelerating into that, and that's not going to be fun. I really want to move that gear forward, but I can't because it'll be in the bay and won't be able to deploy. I could move the gear backward, but then it won't take off as easy. Okay, what I might do is I might have a really small gear on the front to prevent... okay, usually I do that on the back to prevent tail strikes, but I guess I can prevent nose strikes that way. Alright, anyway, here we go. Take off time. Oh, that was really sketchy. Yeah, I definitely do need to add anti-tail strike gear as well. So there's going to be an anti-tail strike and an anti-nose strike gear. And, Oh, I forgot to ditch the ore, so we were actually heavier than we would be otherwise. But anyway, basically, we've proven our point that this thing will work reasonably well. It's not fancy, but... Alright, so let's maybe stress test it a bit more. What about low and fast? That doesn't look friendly. Okay. Again, a full control authority will not break that. So our, what's the technical term for that? I learned the technical term for that. Maneuvering speed or whatever that is? Yeah. Is higher than 800 meters per second at whatever atmospheric pressure that was. So this will be really hard to break apart by overzealous steering. Kind of like a normal airliner in that respect, because the wings, you'll notice the wings have been flexing but not breaking. And it can be kind of alarming to look out the window on an airliner and see the wings flexing, but that's actually safe. They're designed to do that. Alright, and this, another harsh landing test. We're going to nose down a bit further. And we survived that, so... hopefully we'll survive whatever Eve has to throw at this thing. Alright, so what was the thing we needed to do? We needed to do brakes. We needed to experiment with maybe having 2 convertitrons to have the refueling time. And we need to reconfigure the landing gear a lot. So these brakes 200, and we're at our center of mass right now. Okay. So I'm going to offset these by like 3 ticks or so we avoid wing strikes. I'm going to rotate this backwards so it's a bit further forward without actually being in the bay. Okay, I might offset like... I think I can do 1 more tick. And still maybe 2. No, hold on. It might only matter if the center of the part is in the bay. So that should still be safe, but I will have to test it. We're going to do the gear. Anti-tail strike prevention system. And then the nose strike prevention system. And the other thing we're going to do... Okay, well, besides that, we're going to do action groups. This needs to be done anyway. Custom 1 needs to deploy the drill. Sorry, no, not deploy the drill. It needs to toggle the drill. And custom 2 needs to toggle surface harvester. Okay, all those modifications should be complete. This radiator can go back a tad, so it's more in there, like more centered and more realistic, I guess. Right, two convertitrons. So how heavy are these things? 1.25 tons versus 4.25 tons. So let's look at this. Olive ox, 0.5 ore per second and 0.45 liquid fuel per second. And this one... Oh, okay, hold on. I left the ox. It'll take 2.5 ore per second, and will give 0.22 liquid fuel. That's like half the fuel for 5 times the electric. That is 10 times less efficient than the big one. I knew they were bad, but like I didn't know they were that bad. I don't know how aerodynamic this part is. It doesn't look aerodynamic, but it might be decently aerodynamic. Like it might just be modeled as a cylinder in the game's aerodynamics code. So maybe there's a small chance. Okay, if we just slapped another 4 tons of this on, how much would this hurt our range? Because we have 3.1 right now, 3.075-ish. It would take about 350 meters per second off, but we can ditch a bunch of that. So honestly, I might do that. So I'm going to call this the ESREP 4A, and I'm going to try a design with the large convertitron, which means I have to rip off the radiator, I need to rip off this, and I could just do away with that bay entirely, maybe, and just do one bay. These batteries, 2,000 Kelvin. What about these? Are these also 2,000 Kelvin? Okay, yeah, so it's fair to use the batteries there. However, I am going to turn rigid detachment on these batteries. I just had the equivalent of less than one of these before, so 2 should be fine. And the landing gear locations, yeah, this can go way up front now because there's no bay right there. And we can probably remove the nose strike protection because of that. We'll keep the tail strike protection though, although I might actually move this a bit further back so we get a little bit more of a pull-up angle. And I think I may have moved the wings a bit too far forward, so I'm gonna go... That should be fine. Famous last words. I want to know how many times I've said that should be fine this series. And I wonder what the ratio of it actually was fine to it wasn't fine is. And I swear, I didn't intend for this. I didn't intend to do a whole nother episode basically redoing like all this build stuff that we've done before. But here we are. If all goes well, in real life I might be designing and building airplanes in as little as 2 years, so you know when to stop flying, because you'll notice a great decrease in quality as soon as I enter the workforce. Okay, so a bit lower range, but like it's only by less than 300 meters per second, like less than 10%. Like honestly, from an economical standpoint, like from like a mathematical standpoint, yes, we have 10% less delta V each jump, but if we can make the jumps like however many times as often, then that's still a win-win. Granted, delta V, like 300 meters per second more, like 10% more delta V is definitely more than 10% range. But yeah, anyway, so we made it with little to no effort. We got a third of the way around the planet last time. Let's see what we do this time. I want to put the entire core as rigid attachment, now that I think about it, because the batteries, even though they have rigid attachment on, there's a noticeable bend at like higher time warp values. And of course you got the wings by the Gigantors because they didn't code the re-entry effects on the Gigantors properly. And there we are. Still a much greater range than the original ESREP. Granted, I took a lower trajectory. Oh, now that I realized, hold on, since all the fuel was in the back, now the center of mass is going to be way forward of where it was. So, we're going to have to deal with that on landing. Like, it's going to be a little bit less easy to control. You see? Having way more pitch control than you need sometimes pays off. And I can still... Oh, I forgot the brakes. I forgot to set the brakes to 200, so I need to do that in the vehicle assembly building. Oh, wait, no, never mind. I did do that. Do a bounce off the atmosphere to extend my range. Alright, and we want a Hearst touchdown because we've not tested the plane in this configuration before. So I'm thinking roughly 100 meters per second or so. Looks like we're getting some pitch oscillations with SAS on here, so I'm going to do this touchdown manually. And yes, we are getting significant nose heaviness here because of the fuel issues. But I can't really move the ISRU because, whatever. Actually, no, hold on. It'd be in our interest, we'll eventually do a stress test landing, but we want to try and land as slow as possible now so we can just see what our stall speed is with these more difficult conditions. Okay, that was not as slow as we can go, but that was a smooth touchdown. We did it. We're good. And the gear configuration is definitely far more stable than last time. So if you click save, you can get to day. Okay, that was too far, but it's fine. Brakes on, SAS off, action group 1. We should probably include an action... That doesn't look the best. We might fix that. And then 2 to start everything. So now we should fill up far faster. Oh yeah, it's no contest. That was a 2-day refuel. That was a 2-day refuel. So that is 100% worth carrying the bigger Convergitron along. So we can test our action group to stop everything, and then we can test our action group to retract everything. So the only modification so far is maybe move the landing gear slightly back to avoid clipping with the drill, or maybe move the drill slightly forward, but that would be even more part clipping, and add an action group for the ladders. And now we're going to test a harsh landing after doing a low and fast flight. And that was a landing with maximum pitch, so we tested our tail strike capability and it worked perfectly fine. Why is this not retracting? Oh. Okay, so maybe our tail strike capability doesn't work. Okay, alright. So, if this thing damaged can take a hard landing, okay, so basically, don't pull up super harshly is the gameplay with this. Alright, 130 meters per second, can we do it? Yes. And we nose down into the ground. Okay, that is its limit. That is its limit. I think that's a decent limit, so we're good. The design is not fully there, because we still have to... Okay, anyway, the 3 things that we're going to do. Action Group 3. Let's toggle the lander. And then the next thing was going to be move this gear just ever so slightly back. And then the next thing was to give ourselves a little bit more tail strike margin. There, me from the future, I did a really cool thing where I was like demonstrating an angled line with like a piece of paper, but the nearest piece of paper was an envelope and it had my personal information on it, so I had to edit that out. Yeah, that is fairly okay-ish tail strike protection. I'll move it down slightly. And yeah, the gears and the engine, but whatever, it's fine. Maybe you can I can rotate the other way around. And then it'll shine forwards. The light will shine forwards on landing. Then we need to shift it forwards. Okay, since this will be gimbaled out of the way on liftoff, I think that's fine. I should test it. Am I going to? Probably not. Okay. ESREP 4, I'm going to call that pretty much done.